Are you wanting to become a YouTuber for fun or for profit? Then check out the amazing Blue Yeti microphone today. Affiliate link in the video description. Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is the Mundane Matt channel, and oh my god, I've been covering Ghostbusters for about probably 14 months now. The movie released back in July of last year, so we're talking almost a full year that the film's been out, but it is still making waves. But the news today is not something dumb the director said. Oh no, it's something Dan Aykroyd, Ray Stantz himself, the creator, the progenitor of the Ghostbusters franchise, finally spoke out against the film. Probably because, let's be fair, it's been almost a year, people want to forget that it exists, and they probably, maybe a few people out there asking, what's going on with the sequel? Well, those questions and more shall be answered during this quote. Now, in an interview, Dan Aykroyd was praising the actors of the film, saying, "The girls are great in it. Kate McKinnon, Melissa McCarthy, Kristen Wiig, what a wonderful, wonderful players they are. ... I'm not kidding you, ... and Leslie Jones." Right? That, I loved it. I fucking loved it. I love that shit. Because it's like Leslie Jones was the weakest part of that movie. Such a stereotypical character and such a stereotypical portrayal in an already bland, lifeless film didn't do much for anything. And it just everything else surrounding all the arguments of racism with her character and everything else, it didn't do anything to add to her performance, and it was the weakest performance in the film. And so as a result of that, you gotta love this little bit of shade that Aykroyd is throwing at Leslie Jones. Also, as a personal note, she's horrible on Saturday Night Live. They use her like in 2 skits a week, and I think they're just running out her contract. So there's that. But yeah, he goes on to say here, "I was really happy with the movie, but it cost too much. And Sony does not like to lose money. It made a lot of money around the world, but it just cost too much, making it economically not feasible to do another one. So that's too bad. The director, he spent too much on it. He didn't shoot the scenes we suggested and several scenes that were going to be needed, and he said, we don't need them. Then we tested the movie, and they needed them, and they had to go back. About 30 to 40 million in reshoots, so he will not be back on the Sony lot anytime soon." So if you're wondering why I titled this video, Dan Aykroyd Destroys Paul Feig over Ghostbusters Reboot, now you know. This is some serious shit flinging on the Paul Feig from Dan Aykroyd. Now, Dan Aykroyd was very much out there, you know, he was trying to do the publicity for the film. We all like, no, this is like Ghostbusters. This is as good, because he has a vested interest, right? He owns part of the royalty, so he gets, you know, he'll make more money if the movie does well. And the movie did not do well, and it cost too much money. Now, Paul Feig actually tried to counter this months and months and months ago, right? When the film was first coming out on home video, I think around September, October of last year, he was doing interviews about it, saying like, "Oh, the movie just cost too much money to make because we had to spend so much on the producer's fees and the royalty fees, and that was most of the money. We just didn't have the money, so we had to go shoot in Boston, and we just didn't have the money, and it was all about the producers and all about the..." I mean, he did this. He literally tried throwing Dan Aykroyd and Ivan Reitman and Bill Murray and everyone else under the bus, right? He was so trying to do that. And we know, I mean, anyone who saw the movie knows, like, that's a load of shit, right? They wanted to keep the budget down. They still shot it in Boston, trying to make Boston feel like New York is trying to make, I don't know, Pueblo, Colorado look like San Diego. It's just vastly different. Yeah, they're cities, but they different in vibe. You know what I mean? And they tried. Didn't work. And it was an utterly lifeless, soulless film. And it was one of the ones that I went into, even after criticizing it for months and months and months and months and months, hoping beyond hope that it was actually good. And it wasn't. It was not at all. So Dan Aykroyd saying I was really happy with the movie is probably a bit of there's probably a bit of a loaded thing there, saying like, yeah, I was really happy with the movie, ... that it got made, then I got more money, but I really wanted it to do better because then we could have done more with it. So there's no sequel being made. So effectively, Ghostbusters at this point is kind of returned back to zero. We know that Ghost Corps, Ivan Reitman leading the charge there, very much wants to do the animated film, I think coming in 2019. There were talks of doing a Channing Tatum, Chris Pratt version that might team up with the other version, like the Four Girls, whatever. That could maybe still be on the table if they're able to work a deal. Now, Chris Pratt is like the largest movie star in the world right now, so that's probably going to be hard. Channing Tatum might, given the fact that he doesn't really have much going on with the Gambit movie kind of tanking. So who knows? Maybe you can see there. But the fact is, and this is what I want to focus on. This shows you how the ego on Paul Feig was. All right, we know that Amy Pascal went to him 3 times to direct the film. All right, 3 times. He finally accepted it after giving his pitch, which effectively was the movie. And then because she so desperately wanted there to be a girl power Ghostbusters movie, cleared the path, circumvented Ivan Reitman, Dan Aykroyd, and everybody else in order to basically give it all to Paul. Give him full control and ice the other guys out. So if you're wondering why Ivan Reitman and Dan Aykroyd are kind of throwing some shade at this shit, it's because they're laughing their fucking ass off. They're mad that it failed, but they're also laughing their ass off that they were effectively proven right by a person who likes to make subversive comedies, handing him the keys to the castle on a rebooted franchise where he likes to take those kind of movies and turn them on their ear. Didn't work. This movie failed about as badly as the reboot of Chips did back in March. It was just a clusterfuck from beginning to end, and it's one that I don't feel bad laughing at. Because yes, I went in there, I paid good money to see it, I hoped it was good. It wasn't. But now where we're at, this is where we're at right now. So doing a sequel to this franchise, to this version of it, is dead. Holtzman, the rest of them, gone. Okay, the Ghostbusters crossover from the 1980s version to the 2016 version, it's a comic book, it's just going to die off. It's not going to be a thing. What they're going to probably do now is go to the animated movie, try to make that work, and maybe, just maybe, do what Dan Aykroyd wanted to do, which was take it to TV and make it like a big cinematic universe sort of thing, or connected universe. He pitched this a long time ago, back when that was kind of the flavor of the month sort of idea for everything. But the other theory is this. They're going to bide their time because they know that Sony is on its deathbed. They know that Sony Pictures is on its deathbed right now. Sony wrote down roughly $1 billion in losses from last year. What are their movies coming out this summer? Right? You've got Dark Tower, which is, it's a adaptation of Stephen King's book, and the trailer does look pretty cool. But if you're a fan of the franchise, of the book series, you know how vastly different it is. And I don't even know if Idris Elba and Matthew McConaughey are going to be able to save it. I do want to see it because, like I said, it does look interesting, but it's very much a hit or miss. The Emoji Movie, because there's not a lot of other animated films coming out around that time other than Cars 3, and that comes out well after Cars 3 has had its run, it might do okay. But at the same time, it could just crash and burn because this is a movie that not a lot of people are asking for, and I have seen very little in terms of marketing. Now, granted, there could be side marketing with that due to the fact that there are emoji plushies and dolls and slippers and shit you can buy, and they could just be using that as cross-promotion incidentally. But other than that, you've got Spider-Man Homecoming, and Spider-Man Homecoming is what people are basically claiming is going to save the summer box office season, because it is an MCU movie. It's not being produced by Marvel as a whole, and Sony is raking in all the dough, but there's no way that Spider-Man is going to be able to single-handedly save Sony. They just got a new CEO. He says that they're not up for sale, but if this summer fails to do what they want, if it fails to get ahead, even with Spider-Man, the likelihood of them staying around is going to be minimal. Now, Kevin Feige, and I've talked about this on 3 Buck Theater, he said that he was going to he wants to get all the Marvel characters back under one roof. And there's really only one way to do that at this point when it comes to Spider-Man. That would be purchase the fucking company. Purchase Sony Pictures. Disney just takes it in. It might have to go up against the FTC, but I don't see any reason why they couldn't make it work, or Sony to start selling back its franchises. And if they are looking to buy, if Disney is looking to buy, which again could happen depending on how popular Spider-Man is, Disney might be willing to purchase Sony strictly to get Spider-Man back because they know that it would eventually be profitable, right? Because Spider-Man Homecoming is going to probably do $1 billion. So it would be in Sony's best interest to probably sell off to Disney, or at least whatever. I could be wrong, but that's what my gut's telling me is going to happen. So you've got that. So maybe Dan Aykroyd and Ivan Reitman are very much trying to just kind of bide their time in hopes that they either get the rights back wholeheartedly if Sony just gets destroyed, or they are able to then migrate over to Disney and then work underneath the Disney banner and maybe pitch a Disney Pixar version of Ghostbusters. It might be a long play, but it's one that might work. But in the meantime, I'm kind of going all over the place here. You guys probably don't want to know all this extra movie stuff. Is that Paul Feig dropped the ball here. Not only did he drop the ball in terms of directing and writing and everything else, he dropped the ball in terms of marketing. He dropped the ball in terms of how to go, talk to fans and how to deal with criticism. He dropped the ball so hard that it cost Sony so much money. And the fact that Dan Aykroyd is coming out now and going after that just makes me fucking happy as a person. Because they should have been doing that last year. Fuck, they should have been doing that while they were in pre-production and going through the process of getting the script finalized. Dan Aykroyd and Ivan Reitman had their hands tied by Amy Pascal. Pascal is no longer there. The movie tanked. Now they're in a position where they can actually make Ghostbusters great again, and I really hope they fucking do. But what are your guys' thoughts about this? Let me know in the comments below. My name is, of course, Matt Jarbo. This has been the Mundane Matt channel. If you guys want to know more about movies, I got a $3 Theater link below in the video description. If you guys want to support the channel, Amazon affiliate link beforehand really does help out right now, as well as Patreon and PayPal, all that jazz. Be sure to leave your comment, thumbs it up, and I'll talk to you guys later. Have yourself a great day. Peace out.